Horror. What it is about this genre that just keeps us coming back? And just like horror, I'm back again to give you another top 10 recommendations to watch this Halloween. This time I'll also have some TV shows for you blood bingers out there to marathon before the annual Night of Fear. So let's quickly go over some rules and get the party started. Number 1. These items are all my personal opinion, so if you liked it or didn't like it, well, at least you tried. Number 2. The item on this list will be mostly newer horror titles. And lastly 3. Not all entries must be scary, but if it has the spirit of Halloween in it, it qualifies. With the rules done, I need to mention all these horror titles aren't in any particular order. I feel they're all great to jumpstart your Halloween. Only 5 through 1 are my must-watches. So sit back and grab your bag of candy and let's get started. Confusion, fear, suspense, and a room full of potential. This is The Circle. After waking up, 50 people find themselves in a room without the ability to leave, and slowly one by one, they die. This movie feels like a more contained battle royale where wit and cunning are your greatest allies, and the only way to come out alive is if you're willing to play the game. A great suspense film, and you yourself feel like you're taking part in this Russian roulette. In my last year's horror recommendations, I mentioned the Evil Dead movies, and almost like clockwork, here I am again telling you to dive into the gore-filled world of Ashley Williams with Ash vs. Evil Dead. This series has been a great continuation of the horror classic, and with season 2 well on its way, it's a great staple for Halloween. The one thing I find scarier than monsters, ghosts, and aliens is people. The human race is capable of doing some pretty awful things, and in the movie Green Room, you can see that humanity can not only be brutal and malicious, but downright jerks. Centered around a band that only wishes to play music and get paid for it, they're roped into a struggle to survive. With stellar acting and some downright stomach-turning practical effects, how could I not recommend this punk horror flick? Based on the comic by the same name, the Strain series has got the Halloween spirit. As the disease slowly spreads throughout the populace, you begin to discover it's no ordinary virus. With people slowly turning into something we can only dream up in our nightmares, will our protagonist be able to figure out the cure, or will this infection take hold of the world? The greatest moment in any good slasher film is when you get to see who done it. And in the Netflix original series Scream, it's a whole rollercoaster ride of Guess Who. With no real connection to the first Scream movies, the series drops you in a fresh new setting with new faces and an obscure history. So just like the character in the show, you're left guessing just who is the Face's killer and who will be the next victim. With only 2 seasons out right now, and a third possibly hinted at the end, it's a great way to start off your Halloween. If you're looking for a nice long slasher, then this is what I recommend. Ever think to yourself, what does the Wolfman do on his day off? Or how do zombies enjoy their free time? In What We Do in the Shadows, we follow 4 vampire roommates and we get to know the real bloodsuckers below that pale exterior. Now first off, as you may have guessed, this movie is nowhere near a horror film, but it's just so bathed in the Halloween spirit, you would be doing yourself a discourtesy by not watching it. It's hilarious, filled with actual vampires, and shot all in the form of a documentary. Do yourself a favor and check this movie out.
This is bullshit.
Dreams, a way to escape the world and enjoy the fantasy of the imagination. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could live our dreams? If you said yes, then wouldn't that mean the same for our nightmares? In Before I Wake, a boy's dreams come to life, but so do his greatest fears. This film had such a great story and a setting that had me hooked from the start. One moment you'll be enjoying a fantastic spectacle of butterflies and dancing lights, only to be ripped from your wonder and then thrown into a horror-packed scene without any warning. With a great concept and a good story to go along with it, I'm sure you'll enjoy it just as much as I did. The world is in shambles. A deadly gas has spread through the air and people are dropping like flies, and no one has survived. The only way to stay alive is to hide in an underground bunker for the rest of your life. Or is it all a lie? In 10 Cloverfield Lane, This Is What You Face, set in the same universe as the first Cloverfield movie, this movie is not a sequel to the rampaging monster flick from 2008, but instead its own contained event. With John Goodman playing the supposed villain, the line between good and evil is obscured, and it's left up to you to decide who was in the wrong. I really do say without a doubt this film is perfect for Halloween, so make sure you add it to your list. As if to pay homage to all the classic films of the 70s and 80s, Stranger Things is the perfect conduit for Spooktober. A boy has gone missing, and the town is in an uproar trying to find him. His friends, his family, and the local law enforcement all looking for this vanished child. But as time goes on, they begin to uncover more than what they bargained for. With mystery, horror, suspense, and a good old-fashioned boy squad adventure, Stranger Things can only be praised. Now before I reveal number 1, here are some recommendations that didn't quite make the list, but definitely worth checking out. The Zombie Film, a classic for any horror marathon. Blood, action, suspense, and the living dead. The perfect horror recipe for a successful midnight flick. So for this Halloween, I have a real treat, and in my opinion, one of the best zombie films to be made in recent years, and it's called Train to Busan. Centered around a father and his daughter simply trying to get to Busan to see her mother as they fight, run, and survive a train ride through hell. This movie has it all. Moments of uncertainty, high adrenaline-packed chase scenes, and the choice between humanity and survival. Accompanied by a story that's just simple enough to not take away from the excitement and tension, but also worth enjoying. Train to Busan is in my mind one of the greatest zombie films, and it belongs in the top 5 on my list, which is why it's my number 1 recommended horror movie for this Halloween. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want more horror movie reviews, I've actually done a review of Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 1, The Green Room, and I'll be doing an in-depth review of Train to Busan in a later video. So be sure to subscribe to know when that comes out. Anyways, I hope you like my recommendations and let me know what you think of these titles and comment your thoughts and some films that I may have missed. Until next time, happy Halloween, and I'll see you next year for another installment of horror movie recommendations.